Good evening, everybody. My name is Gabriel Jimenez. I am the Assistant Director of Student Initiative at the Office of Institutional Diversity. Welcome, welcome, welcome to session number 3. This is social opportunities and experiences. We may want to allow a few minutes to see if more students they want to or they join us now. So we may want to take 1 or 2 minutes and then we continue with section number 3. Okay, I think we're ready. Again, welcome everybody to section number 3, social opportunities and experiences. Like I said, my name is Gabriel Jimenez. I am the Assistant Director at OID. We have the privilege and the honor to have the Vice Provost for Diversity and Inclusion and Strategic University Initiative, Dr. Michelle Cook. She will be addressing now to all of you. Thank you for being here, Dr. Cook, and this is your floor.
Thank you, Mr. Jimenez, and good evening, GAAME. My name is Michelle Cook, and as he mentioned, I serve as Vice Provost for Diversity and Inclusion and Strategic University Initiatives at the University of Georgia. I want to thank all of you all for joining us for this virtual experience of UGA Ready. First, let me congratulate you on being admitted to the University of Georgia. We had an incredible applicant pool of students who were interested in attending UGA, and there were a lot of hard decisions that had to be made. But so I can guarantee that you're among the best of the best to be selected to attend the University of Georgia. So we are hosting this event primarily because we want you to seriously consider UGA as you make your collegiate plans. We realize that a lot goes into making that decision, and we also realize that you have a lot of options. There are a lot of places that you can go, but we want to tell you, we believe that University of Georgia is the full package. Academically, socially, economically, we have incredible opportunities here at the university. And when you graduate from the University of Georgia, you will have a degree that will enable you to accomplish whatever you wish to do. You will be able to be part of a very large and active community of more than 15,000 living African-American alumni who are doing incredible things. You will be a part of the Bulldog Nation, and that's not something we take lightly. So why UGA? I could give you numbers and statistics about our national rankings and the number of buildings we have and the size of our campus, and it's pretty big. The number of books in our library, or the economic, political, cultural impact that we have on the states, the country, and honestly, the world. And of course, there is athletics, which is a huge draw. But I won't shower you with this data because at the end of the day, they're really numbers. They're great numbers, impressive numbers, but simply numbers. But you, I'm sure, want to know, how does this affect you as a student in making a collegiate decision? What does this have to do with you in terms of deciding where you're going to spend the next 4 years of your life? UGA is a large place, but I would say that no student feels as if there's simply a number here. UGA does a number of things really well. And one thing that I think we do wonderfully is make this very large, very complex place, small and personal for each of our students. And this event is an example of this. We are interested in you as an individual. We're invested in your success, and we want to help you to realize whatever goals you personally have for yourself. So large doesn't mean lost in a crowd. At UGA, large means opportunity. I have given you some of those facts. I've talked about facts and figures, but I want to reiterate the fact that being a student at an institution that has the size, the resources, the diversity, and honestly, the reach that the University of Georgia has, allows you as a student to have opportunities that you simply won't find at a much smaller institution. And you'll hear about some of those later from our students and even from our alumni. In terms of diversity, we are committed to diversity and inclusion at the University of Georgia. Honestly, if we weren't, I wouldn't be here. And you are that next generation. We need great minds and creative young thinkers from every demographic. And this past year, UGA has had the particular honor of having the ability to attract the best, the brightest, and the most diverse freshman class. This program is part of a larger initiative to continue to grow the numbers and percentages of underrepresented students who attend the University of Georgia. Our office and the individuals in our office are committed to that mission. And we just don't want to increase the presence of students of color here at the University of Georgia to get the numbers up. We're making incredible efforts to increase the sense of community, inclusion, and advocacy that our students receive while they're here. Again, we're invested in you. We want to make sure that we support you at every step along the way. And having an inclusive, welcoming campus that you can make your own is a part of that. We realize that choosing a college can be a difficult decision, especially when you have as many great choices as I'm sure many of you have. The choice of college is one that impacts the entire family. And it's important for you to know that we want to be your family, that we want to have that, to be able to provide the support and the endorsement that a family provides. We pledge our support of and our investment in you. We work daily to ensure that the University of Georgia will not only meet your collegiate needs, but prepare you to move on in your life and accomplish your goals. I encourage each of you to take advantage of this virtual University of Georgia experience that we're so proud of, UGA Ready. Please note that it was curated and designed explicitly for you. We want you to learn all that you can about our campus and our culture and what our institution offers. And I challenge you to consider how you would look as a bulldog and how you would contribute to this community. If you were on earlier, Vice President of Student Affairs, Victor Wilson, stated during the academic opportunity session that you should embrace the institution and make it your own. And I would really challenge you to do that. Now, there's nothing like being on the University of Georgia Athens campus. And while we can't provide that experience for you right now, we look forward to having the opportunity to welcome you onto the campus. I can honestly say it is nothing short of electric to walk on the University of Georgia campus, to attend a UGA football game between the hedges, to participate in some of our student organizations, many of which you will hear about today. And by participating in this program, I think that you're in the process of making decisions, good decisions about the next stage of your academic career. You realize on some level that the University of Georgia is an awesome opportunity. And hopefully, we really believe that you will have your questions answered and that you will commit to the G and commit to the University of Georgia. Again, welcome to the University of Georgia. And as always, go Dogs.
Thank you, Vice Provost. Go Dog. Thank you so much. It's always a pleasure to have you. So I just want to emphasize that section number 3, this session that we are doing, this 1 hour and a half, we are going to be talking about African American male experiences and some of the opportunities that we have, the UGA, we have for you. Our next panel, our next presenter, we have Mr. Jalen Polk. He's going to be talking about the BMLS, All Black Male Leadership Society. So I want to invite Mr. Polk. He has a presentation that is that he has for all of you. Mr. Polk.
In 1 second. Yes.
Hey,
Thank
how
you.
you doing?
Pretty good.
Welcome to UGA Ready. Are you ready?
I am ready. Claudia and Quinn should be joining in as well. Also, we had a presentation. Is it okay if we get sharing, right?
Of course, yeah, you can share that. So I'm gonna step out. I'm gonna give you the floor to present about BMLS and your experience, okay?
Awesome. 1 second.
Thank you so much.
Share screen.
We can see it.
I give like 30 seconds for Claudia and Quinn to hop on. I don't know if they knew it was going to be so soon.
Well, do you want to introduce yourself?
Yes. So I'm Jalen Pope. Sorry about that. I'm a third year and I'm an economics major in the business school. Currently, I serve as the president for Black Male Leadership Society. And I've been involved with the Black Male Leadership Society ever since I came to UGA. In fact, around this time when I was a high school student, I went to GAAME weekend, and that's when I first met the officers, and they told me about the opportunities. And they actually encouraged me to commit to UGA. And it was a great decision. I'm glad I made the decision. And yeah, it served as a wonderful mentoring tool for me. Well, I will still allow Claudia and Quinn and Dion to hop on, but here's an IG handle for us. This year, Claudia, she will be the VP of Strategic Operations, and she will oversee some of the chairmen that we have. And then Dion, he actually is a social chairman, so he will plan all of the events for membership engagement and helping with our relations between the e-board. And then Quinn in the corner, he'll be the VP of membership. And he'll oversee some of our outreach programs like YBK. We actually go to Clark County Middle School. We have the opportunity to do mentorship programs. And also he oversees the freshman ambassador who does a special program, a unique opportunity for freshmen to get involved with the leadership opportunity. Well, it seems like they may be a little slow, so I'll just keep it moving. Here is our mission. The mission of Black Male Leadership Society is to, let's see, I can't really see. We'll cultivate membership through fellowship and cultural appreciation, which will sharpen professionalism along with moral values amongst Black men and implore them to effectively create change. In other words, I think our goal is to become effective contributors to our campus and also just outside of UGA, like really sharpening our leadership development and personal development. And really, I think the vessel of BMLS and what makes it special is just our community enrichment and our commitment to like grow one another. Our motto is actually still sharpen steel. So a lot of our fun events consist of like talks with BMLS. We go over just things that affect the Black male identity in the world and just understanding how we can use that information to better ourselves and look out for the people that look like us on campus. And actually, Dion, he just joined us. Unfortunately, his name is Jalen Pope, but you can come off mute, Dion.
Sorry about that. Hello.
Dion, if you don't mind, just introducing yourself, just saying what year, your major, and a little bit about yourself.
Hello, everyone. I am Dion Vassar. I am an upcoming second year at the University of Georgia, class of 2023. My major is political science with a minor in sociology, and I am the current social chair for the Black Male Leadership Society.
Cool. I think Quinn is on here too. Quinn, you can come off mute. Allow some time. Well, in the meantime,
can you hear me?
We can hear you.
Okay, I'm just introducing myself.
Yep, just introduce yourself.
Okay,
Major,
hey
everything.
Okay, hey everybody. My name is Quinn Thomas. I'm the incoming Vice President of Membership and Outreach. I'm a second year, about to be a third year, studying political science with a minor in criminal justice and African American studies.
Awesome. And then Claudia, you can come off mute too if you're in the chat. Maybe not. Here on this slide, we'll move forward. Here on this slide, we have a list of our committees. And our hope is that members, a part of BMLS, will get engaged with the committee. I'll let Quinn take us away since he has been involved with the committees pretty in-depthly.
Okay. So a part of BMLS, we have several different committees. We have our freshman council, which is overseen by our freshman ambassador. We have the community service committee, and that is something that I work a lot on with the MLK Service Day, and we do several other initiatives in the community. We have our youth development chairs, which is kind of like the community outreach committee, where we work with teams in the communities, whether that be YBK or Teens Night at Clark Middle School. We have our financial chair, which oversees fundraising and things of that nature. And then we have our public relations and social chair.
And just to speak on YBK, I personally, before I became the president, I was, well, actually 2 years ago, I was a community outreach chair. And we worked with Young Black Kings, which was a program started the year before I came into that position to like go into Clark County Middle School. And we basically came up with a curriculum for just about the whole semester. And it stopped, unfortunately, into the second semester of the school year. But we helped kids sort of find that sense of self. We tried to just instill certain values that have helped us grow as young men and women across campus, and really just be a listening ear. We also help with the behavior and like academic excellence in the classroom. There's a really interesting opportunity, and we hope that you all get involved with that. As it says on the left-hand side, like really the chairman and the committees are the face of BMLS. So we really want the committees to like head the organization. The president and all those other roles are really just the supportive factors that help BMLS run. But really what BMLS is in the eyes of like all the members and all the students. Dion, take it away.
All right, so I'm basically here to give you a little bit in-depth, description about the Freshman Council. I was just a part of this new and upcoming Freshman Council for the class of 2023. And I have to tell you that it was a wonderful experience. And I believe that everyone should go out, just give themselves up to a collective group, especially within BMLS, as we, as it just basically helps you navigate campus. As being a freshman, I know it's hard to just navigate such a big campus and just, try to make new connections, meet upperclassmen and do all of these amazing things. And I believe the Freshman Council is a great way in just inputting yourself within the UGA community. Throughout the Freshman Council this upcoming school year, we hosted like 2 events each semester, 2 events that brought out a lot of people where you could just socialize, connect with people, while also having some great values associated with it. So I also believe that, if you really want to go on to something that's just amazing, meeting a great group of people, somebody, who may have the same qualities, who may have the same drive or anything as you, then I believe that you should go out and become a part of the Freshman Council.
Thanks, Dion. Dion, do you mind? Here are some of the events that have been held past year. Dion, do you mind talking about the breast cancer walk?
Yeah, no problem. So I'll just give you the whole rundown on how we came up to think of the idea and how we just was able to push it through to come out with an amazing event this upcoming school year. So within the breast cancer walk, me and a couple other members of the Freshman Council wanted an idea, something different, and just wanted something great within the UGA community. So, it was the month of October, and we knew that October is breast cancer month. So we came together as a collective, of course. Great couple of minds came together, and we just decided to do a breast cancer walk. And, with our freshman ambassador at the time, Chris Clemens, he told us that it was the first time that has been done in a while. He said the last time it was done was probably around 2015, I believe so. And I was just a freshman in high school around that time too. So it was great to hear that, we were really like stepping out of the box and just trying to create a good event with good intentions also. And, when planning the event, of course, with anything, you hit your rough patches, some things you may not really anticipate, but at the same time, if you continue to work through it, then, it can end up, wonderful, just as the event did. And we had a great, turnout. A lot of people came, showed support. It was a great march. We had some guest speakers also, some breast cancer survivors who came out, gave their story. There was food, and it was just a wonderful event altogether put place by, BMLS and the Freshman Council. So if you really want to join something, do amazing events, do things such as this, then I believe that, joining the Freshman Council should really help you navigate the school and just definitely create some big connections within UGA.
Another big event that we do annually is the suit strip. If you look on the far left, we went down to Snellville We went to K&G. I think we went to D&K as well and got suits. BMLS, you know, is an opportunity for you to grow as a professional and start, you know, learning about how to dress professionally, how to dress business casual appropriately. And yeah, Quinn, you want to finish us off with the pinning ceremony?
Okay, the pinning ceremony is one of our annual ceremonies where we pin the new members of BMLS. This year, I was able to be pinned as a new member of BMLS. And that ceremony, it really, although you know you're getting your pin and it's like, yeah, it really symbolizes like the brotherhood, because you're around all of these other Black men and we have our Black women in suits, and you're listening to the alumni who have went on to do great things in life come back and tell you their stories and give you words of encouragement and motivation. And it's all, you know, with a nice dinner. And it's just really a great ceremony to where you're just able to realize what you're joining and what you have just become a part of. So I really like it. And that's the conclusion of our signature programs.
Thank you so much, BMLS students. Wonderful presentation. So now I want to invite the graduate assistant of academic success. I'm the coordinator of the Georgia African American Male Experience, Mr. Marques Dexter. He will engage with all of you with some of questions. So.
Thank you, Gabriel. And before I go forward, I want to give Claudia a chance to introduce herself. I know we had some technical difficulties, but I wanted her to give an opportunity so she can provide who she is while we ask attendees to please use the Q&A section to write some questions for these lovely, engaged leaders.
Thanks, Dex. Hey, everyone. My name is Claudia Witten. I am the Vice President of Strategic Operations for the Black Male Leadership Society. I am a rising fourth year studying political science and international affairs. And I love BMLS. It's something that I started to be a part of my second year. And so I really like bringing a woman's perspective to the Black Male Leadership Society. It's definitely needed. It's definitely wanted from all of the men. And so, yeah, I'm excited for next year. I hope that you all will join us. Thanks, Dex.
No problem. And to kick things off, I have a question for you all. How would you suggest for students to get involved in programs at UGA? It doesn't necessarily have to be just like BMS or student programs, but just to get involved in general.
I believe, especially with being an upcoming freshman, the best way for me was getting involved with just attending events. You know, there's a lot of events, especially the first month or couple of months before class really start to build. Just attending events, really getting to know people, seeing, hey, because usually when you're meeting people and they're like, hey, I'm really like pumped up about this event. It's a wonderful event, especially since, you know, we have a lot in common or something, that this event is for you. And just, I believe that the best way to like open yourself up to attending a lot of these organizations is just basically attending a lot of events and just going a lot of places with it also.
Thank
Yeah,
you.
I think that's great advice, Dion. Oh, can I add to that, Dex?
Of course, go ahead.
I would say, especially as freshmen, you never really know what you're interested in until you go to those programs. So even if it's a program that you may, it may not interest you in the beginning, definitely go out, take a friend, give it a try. Because I think the cool thing about UGA is that there's so many different organizations and so many different programs happening every single day that you really can find things that you love and people that you love along the way. So definitely just kind of go for it with programming.
Awesome. Another question while people are still thinking is, could you, or one of you, kind of tell us, like, what is a typical meeting like for those new students who are anticipating potentially becoming involved? Could you just kind of let us know, like, what type of things or topics are discussed and so forth?
A typical BMLS meeting, BMLS, right? BMLS related?
Yes, sir.
Okay. It varies. You know, sometimes we have a topic of the month and we may do events and like icebreakers and activities centered around that value. man, one time we had a value, it might have been empowerment, but basically we had an activity and we did a skit around it. We tend to end our meetings with sharpening of the saw, doing a powwow just of what we've learned, what we've taken away. And then most of the time we bring in alumni, or we try to connect with administrators on campus to come in and give advice to students. And outside of our general body meetings, those are our general body meetings. We try to do cultural awareness talks with general body. I think I mentioned that at the beginning of the presentation.
Yes, and could you also speak on the dress code? And it's something unique that not all organizations outside of maybe SGA engage in, but if you can kind of talk about that and where that has come from.
Yeah, so BMLS, our e-board, we make sure we are business professional. It's not, to the max, but we try to give our best when we come to meetings. And even when we're representing BMLS, we try to be business casual because one of our values is professionalism. And again, we're just practicing some of those habits and getting in the nature of learning, and being comfortable in that. And yeah, just being comfortable operating like that.
Awesome. And can each of you kind of tell us, like, what's one of your favorite aspects about being part of BMLS that you may not have already talked about? Putting y'all on the spot tonight.
I guess for me, it would definitely be the community within BMLS. Like if you've actually attended a BMLS meeting, you'll see that it's just great dialogue, a group of intellectual leaders, and just a great community within BMLS, and just, you're able to discuss. You're never really by yourself. If you're by yourself, somebody's gonna approach you, try to start a great dialogue. It's just everlasting bond, and you can really sense a great sense of family within every meeting, not just within the organization itself, just when attending a meeting. In case you had an interest in joining BMLS, you just wanted to attend to see what was going on, and then just with that, that meeting itself, you're just getting brought up to, you're talking with a lot of people, you're laughing, you're having fun, you're getting really a great sense of a great feeling within yourself. And I just feel the community within BMLS is more than just an organization. It's a great family also. So yeah.
I would add on to that and say a signature part of our meetings is 5 minutes of fellowship. We start off the meeting just asking a question, encouraging everybody to meet somebody that they don't know, like Dion said. But that just goes into my favorite part about BMLS is just, I don't know, there's multiple aspects of it, but we are a family and we're pushing each other to be better leaders. I think it's amazing how we are friends naturally outside of BMLS, but when we come to meetings, we really challenge ourselves to hold ourselves accountable, hold each other accountable. So there are a lot of conversations, hard conversations that have to happen. And then outside of that, BMLS is just innovation. I mean, I don't think there's any opportunity I will continue to speak on as I'm moving into job opportunities and interviews, because there's always something that we can improve, and BMLS is always about improvement. So we're always just asking, how can we, serve our purpose better? How can we extend our reach? How can we build community better? How can we build better relations within the e-board?
Definitely. Quinn?
Oh, there we go. Here I am. For me, it would have to be the sense of brotherhood and sisterhood. I come from a small town where my graduating class was about 200 people. And so when you look at the African-American men that was in my class and you compare me to those men, there's just a lot of differences. You can say, okay, these are the group of people who went to college, who decided not to go to college, and then you have me, or you have a lot of times I would be the only Black male in our honor and AP classes. So I never really got to connect with a lot of Black men who thought the same as I did. So coming into BMLS, I was able to surround myself with Black men who wanted to go places in life, or who had these dreams that are way up to the sky just as mine. And so I think that's the thing that I enjoy most about BMLS.
Thank you. And can you guys go through again, how does someone actually become a member and get involved with BMLS?
I can touch a little bit on that. So last year I was the historian for BMLS. And so basically membership intake is very simple. It's very easy to do. I would definitely recommend anyone who's interested to reach out to us on Twitter or Instagram on our social media accounts. And we would love to talk to you more about BMLS, but also in the fall, basically it'll be a membership application, and that's just, you know, your interest, your year, your major, what do you hope to gain from BMLS, just something that we can get to kind of gauge from our members. And so it's an application. We will review that, and I mean, it's pretty much straightforward from there. And so paying dues of $10, and then you'll have access to all things BMLS. So all the food, all of the signature events that we go to, the suit trip where you'll get a percentage off of the suits that you buy, all of the extra benefits of being in BMLS. And so there's really just an application process, just a simple form, paying dues, and then you're in. And I definitely recommend it. Definitely reach out to us on those social media platforms if you have any more questions.
Thank you. I think even myself, from working so closely with you all through the GAAME program, I think what's also very important is that membership is not just for students or undergraduate students, it's that faculty, staff, alumni can also, and graduate students can also become members and be supported. And so thank you all so much for letting us know about BMLS and telling us more about yourselves and the program, and turning it back over to Mr. Jimenez.
Thank you, BMLS. Thank you, leaders.
Thank you.
Have a wonderful evening now. So now I want to invite Dr. Hodges. He's the Assistant Director of Programming at the Multicultural Services and Program Office. Dr. Hodges.
I was speaking and you all couldn't hear me because my microphone was muted.
No problem. Welcome. Thank you for doing this. So we'll give you now the floor.
Awesome. Let me get my presentation set up here. All right. Gabriel, can you confirm if you are able to see my presentation?
Excuse me, Dr. Hodges, say that again?
Yes, can you confirm if you can see my presentation?
No, right now I see only you. Did you click on share the screen?
I did. Oh, wait a minute. There we go.
Oh, yes, I can see now your screen. Perfect. Thank you so much.
Great. Like Gabriel said, my name is Dr. Hodges. I am one of the assistant directors within the Office of Multicultural Services and Programs. Really and truly, one of the things that the MSP office is designed to do is create an experience for students, especially our multicultural students, where they find a sense of belonging and a sense, a good strong presence here at the University of Georgia. So that's one of our primary missions. So I'm going to move forward. So one of our things is creating a inclusive campus environment that supports the development of and affirming the overall experiences of all of our students, particularly our multicultural students. A lot of the times when, depending on our backgrounds, we sometimes pigeonhole our idea of what multicultural actually means. That's any culture that is represented that has any type of basis or any type of cultural background that is not just specifically American, right? So we're looking at African American organizations, Hispanic organizations, Middle Eastern organizations, Asian organizations, all the organizations in between But we work to foster a very strong, inclusive campus experience for all of our students. But we focus primarily on our students with multicultural backgrounds. MSP has these 6 core values: advocacy, authenticity, community, social justice, fortitude, and zest. Each of these core values are held very, very, very strongly with a high regard in our office. We look at each of these individually when we look at how we evaluate our student organizations that report to us, how we interact with each other, the programs that we put on as an office, as well as how we interact with other campus partners outside of MSP. These core values, our student organizations that I'll talk about a little bit later on the next slide, are very, 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 very important to them as well. When they program, when they're having conversations with each other, for example, BMLS, which is one of the organizations that is under MSP, when they have conversations about community and what community looks like, they're having that conversation in the confines of, or from the perspective of their organization and their organizational mission. So each of our organizations are having these conversations around these different topics within their organizations. But the Multicultural Services and Programs office is there specifically to foster all of these different values, but then also make sure that our student organizations are supported when they're having the conversations or programming around these different core values as well. So MSP actually houses 12 different student organizations. Those student organizations are listed, but I will highlight the organizations that are typically represented by the African American community, the Black Affairs Council, Pomoja Dance Company, the Black Theatrical Ensemble, Black Educational Support Team, the UGA chapter of the NAACP, the Black Male Leadership Society, and Avenue Fuku Honor Society. All of these different organizations really house the mission of what BUGA, or I don't know if you've heard this this phrase, but BUGA, that is Black UGA, what Black UGA kind of stands for, and pushing that mission of the African American community at the University of Georgia, and specifically to the University of Georgia. As things happen nationally, whether it's things in current event, pop music, things like that, our organizations are very strategically working within themselves and collectively with other organizations as well to create a campus experience that is the most relevant and educational for the students coming in. So as you look at your college choices, I want you to really be mindful of the fact that the University of Georgia is not just an institution that is very strong in academics, which it is. Was not just an institution that is really strong in athletics, which it is, but it is really strong in its diversity and its diverse initiatives as well. When we start talking about the student organizations and what it is that they do, they also understand the strong diversity initiatives that the institution has, and they work very hard in order to make sure that these initiatives go forth. So we're going to talk about some MSP programs, some programs that we've initiated this year. The first I'll talk about is the Men of Color Leadership Summit, which unfortunately, of course, looking at the date, we were not actually able to have this year, with everything that's happening around the health concerns revolving around COVID-19. But that event was planned to be an amazing event for all of our students who attended. The defamation experience was also a really great event that we planned. It was a screenplay that talked about different issues in diversity, specifically around race, class, religion, and gender, all colliding into one. It is an amazing opportunity to program and have these conversations with students, but put it in a format that is fun and very educational at the same time, in which leads us to the Inclusive Excellence Retreat. That was a retreat where we took students off campus and we did 2.5 days of intensive training around diversity and inclusion and what that looks like from a student perspective, but also from an advocacy perspective. When we start talking about different areas of diversity, whether it be class, whether it be race, whether it be gender, what does that look like from a advocacy perspective as a student? Then we have our signature programs. Each of our Heritage Months, and there is one Heritage Month that isn't listed here, and that is a PETA Heritage Month, that is Asian Pacific Islander and Desi American. But each of our signature programs revolve around our Heritage Months. Latinx Heritage Month, one of our larger Heritage Months, is typically between September and October. Native American Heritage Month is in November. Then of course, Black History Month is in February. In all of those different months, we make sure that we have a strong sense of the programs that are happening. One of the things that you'll notice, and you may not be able to decipher everything that's going on in all of the flyers, but one of the things that we pride ourselves in doing is not just publicizing events that MSP is doing. We also publicize events that other offices and other campus entities are doing within those months that are specific to those Heritage Months. So when you see this calendar, know that not all of those programs are MSP programs, but MSP does a really good job, and we are very intentional in making sure that all of the programs that are offered in a specific Heritage Month are publicized as best as possible, whether it be through a physical flyer or on our website. So a couple of other signature programs that I definitely will be remiss if I did not mention. One of them is Writer Sankofa graduation celebration. That is easily our largest event each year. This event happens once a year, typically in May, and it recognizes the graduates that will be graduating in that calendar year. So if you're graduating in May 2020, summer 2020, or fall of 2020, you would be able to participate in Writer Sankofa for that specific calendar year. That's where we really kind of bring everything together from the students' 4 years as undergraduate and for graduate students as well. Bring together that entire college experience, and we pretty much open the space where students can look back and look at the lessons that they've learned through their college experience, but then also take those lessons into the future. It is a graduation celebration. We ensure that everyone who is in attendance knows that it is a celebration, but we're celebrating the students, and most of our students who participate in that program are African-American students, but we're celebrating our students graduating. We're making sure that it is a experience that not just the graduate takes advantage of, but also their family and friends take advantage of as well. So we're making sure that we foster that environment specifically for this group of students, because we know that it is not an easy feat to graduate from college. It is not an easy feat to graduate from graduate school, earning your master's, specialist, or doctoral degree. And so we want to make sure that we highlight and celebrate those accomplishments. And that's one of the things that we do specifically from the Office of Multicultural Services and Programs. Then we have senior reception. So of the 12 organizations that we house within the Office of Multicultural Services and Programs, we always have a senior reception where we recognize those senior leaders who will be graduating and go out into the workforce. We're highlighting the work that they've done. We're highlighting the ways that they've made MSP better. We're highlighting ways that they've made the University of Georgia better. So one of the things that we love to do with senior reception, as you see in the picture, we give students graduation stoles as well. So in both of these celebrations, in senior reception and Writer Sankofa, these are celebrations where we allow students the space to really reflect on where they have been in their college careers, but then where they're going. Each of these events have a stole that is a graduation stole that is assigned to it. And we make sure that we let students know that this isn't just, a graduation stole for you. It has a lot of meaning to it. There were a lot of blood, sweat, and tears that went into that, and we want to celebrate those things. So when you look at those stoles that the students have, whether it be a Rite of St. Kofa graduation celebration or a senior reception, we're looking at the work that they put in, and we're honoring that work. Then let's talk about the intersection space. The intersection space is a space that is very near and dear to MSP. That's the space where we do a lot of programming, and the impetus behind designing this space was what you see on the screen right now: challenging assumptions, deepening understanding, encouraging respectful discourse, honoring the intersections of identities, constructing knowledge as a catalyst for transformation, embracing personal responsibility, and dismantling systems of oppression. A lot of the events that you'll see hosted in the intersection sometimes will be meetings, sometimes it'll be some movie showings, but the overall goal of the programming within the programming efforts within the intersection space goes to these six bullet points. We want to make sure that these events and programs are educational, but that they also offer some form of relevance to what students are going through today. So whether it be BMLS hosting their talks with BMLS event in the intersection space, or one of our other organizations hosting events, the intersection is always active. It is specifically and strategically placed within the Tate Student Center. So as events are happening, all you have to do is walk past the intersection and you'll see something going on in there. And it's a very welcoming environment for students to just, see what's going on, pop their heads in and participate with whatever is going on within the intersection space at that time. So I want to make sure that you understand how to reach out to the MSP office, whether it be through social media, through email, or through phone. But this is where we are. This is, we're everywhere. We're on Snapchat, we're on Facebook, we're on Twitter, we're on Instagram, and then you have our email address listed there as well. So at this point in time, I guess I will open the floor for any questions that you all have. Fire away.
Well, thank you so much, Dr. Hodges, for the presentation. Now I want to invite again Mr. Marques Dexter. He will be providing you the questions that he compiled. Start that conversation. Thank you.
Hello again, everyone. And thank you, Dr. Hodges, for that great presentation. If you could at least first start off telling us, where is your office located in relation to campus?
Yes, so our office is actually located in Memorial Hall. The interesting thing and great thing about Memorial Hall is it sits right next to Sanford Stadium and right across the street from the Tate Student Center. So we're very easy to find. There are 2 bus stops that drops off and picks up right in front of Memorial Hall. So we're very easy to access for all of our students.
Thank you. And one thing I think would be great for the students to know is how can they get involved with the organizations that are in the office? Specifically, are there specific events or times of the year that are kind of like available for them to engage outside of like virtual or digital communication?
Absolutely. So the MSP office hosts a multitude of events throughout the year. However, we want to make sure that we engage with students as soon as they get in. So we have a open house that we have at the beginning of each academic year where new students and current students who may be seniors, maybe graduate students, where they can come in and pop their heads into MSP and see what it is we have going on. They can also take a tour of our student organizational offices. So each of the 12 organizations that are within the MSP office, they have their own office space and own dedicated office hours that they hold. So with that open house, what we do, we have a representative from all of our different student organizations posted up in their offices. So as we go through, the students can have conversations with those specific student organizations.
Forgot to unmute. Thank you. And just want to definitely send a reminder, if you have any questions, to please submit them to the Q&A button at the bottom if you're joining us via Zoom. But for those who are joining us via the YouTube Live, you can also put a comment in, and we are paying attention to those questions. As we move forward with questions, I wonder if you kind of tell us, particularly specifically with our African-American male population, what are some of the, I guess you can say, challenges you've seen them go through, but also what are some of the triumphs that you've seen them have, particularly the undergraduate students?
Absolutely. So one of the things that we've noticed in the MSP office is that at such a large institution with such a large student population, it's very easy to kind of fade to the background. It's very easy to kind of do your own thing. And without being very active on campus, you may not be able to, you may not find it easy to find your place on campus. And so one of the things that our student organizations have done, I won't even say that MSP has done, what our student organizations have come together and done, they created a Black Student Union. That Black Student Union will have monthly meetings to really talk about how they can collaborate to make sure that everyone knows about what's going on. Because as you can imagine, it's such a large institution, everybody doesn't know every little thing that's going on. So it's a little bit tougher to connect when you are out of the loop. Well, what we're trying to do, what our student organizations are trying to do is make a concerted effort to make sure that that engagement that happens specifically for the Black community does not go silent or ignored, but that it is publicized in the best possible fashion, whether it be through collaborations between an MSP organization and a organization within Greek life, or whether it be a collaboration between the undergraduate Black Law student organization and the Black Student Accountants of America organization. So there's a lot of collaboration that can happen that our student organizations are taking the initiative to make sure they foster. A lot of connections that may have been missing in the past that our student organizations, our students are taking it upon themselves. It's a great thing to kind of bridge that gap and create those connections or strengthen those connections for first year students and transfer students, as well as the entire campus community as a whole.
Awesome, that's amazing to hear. And with the last couple of minutes before we move forward, I wonder if you give you an opportunity to kind of talk a little bit more about the Men of Color Summit. Unfortunately, yes, we didn't get a chance to have it, especially with it being the inaugural one. Anything you want to share and talk about it, especially what you were excited about and so forth?
Absolutely. So one of the things that and I only have a couple of minutes because I can talk about this all day, but the Men of Color Leadership Summit was an initiative that was birthed out of BMLS, ironically, being that they, kind of presented before us. But it was birthed out of BMLS because there was no one set place where all of the students of color or the men of color on campus can come together and talk about the issues that affect their specific communities. Specifically for our Black male community, this Men of Color Leadership Summit was going to be amazing. There were 19 different sessions that were a part of the summit. Most of those sessions were geared towards our Black male population, whether it would have been around toxic masculinity or mental health, or what it means to be Black in America, or there was one session that was entitled When They See Us, the experience around being a Black man, not just in America, but specifically at a predominantly white institution. So that Men of Color Leadership Summit was really fostering a lot of educational and cognitive growth for all of our students who were going to attend. It hurt my feelings that we had to cancel it. However, with everything that was going on, we kind of didn't have a choice. But we will be doing it again next year. And with the time that we have now, we've already been game planning what that looks like for next year for all of the incoming students who, and our current students as well, to be able to come in and participate in that. And it's not just, UGA students and UGA faculty and staff that were presented. We had faculty and staff members from other institutions and participants from other institutions as well that were coming in and were going to participate. So next year is going to be a great time to be a Georgia Bulldog, but more so specifically, it's going to be a great time to be a UGA student revolving around the Men of Color Leadership Summit.
Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Hodges. I also have to say that that was kind of painful for me, the cancellation of the summit. I was looking forward to that, but I know that next year is going to be even better. So I'm looking forward to that. Thank you for doing, for participating and doing your presentation. Again, students, if you want to know more about MSP, please contact Dr. Hodges. He's more than happy to start communication with you. Now, excuse me. Like I said at the beginning, Marques Dexter is not only a graduate assistant of academic access, excuse me, he's also the coordinator of a wonderful program called the Georgia African American Male Experience. We call this program GAAME. He's gonna be talking to you about GAAME. He's gonna be talking to you about a wonderful program for ambassadors called GAAME Ambassador. So we'll give the opportunity to Marques Dexter to present to you about the GAAME program or the Georgia African American Male Experience.
Thank you so much, Gabriel. I'm going to share screen now. Hopefully it can be seen because I cannot see you. But, bro, can you see everything, Gabriel?
Yes, sir, we can see. We are GAAME.
Thank you so much. All right, so hello, everyone. Again, my name is Marques Dexter. I'm a fourth-year doctoral candidate within the Mary Frances Early College Education's Kinesiology Department and the Sport Management and Policy PhD program. And I'm here to talk to you today about our Georgia African American Male Experience program. And once I get done this presentation, I will welcome on members of our GAAME ambassadors to kind of talk about their experiences, and especially as Black male students, but also their experience with the program. So, as I just have to switch back to PowerPoint to move forward, if it likes me today. Uh-oh. I think we're having technical difficulties. It's
not moving.
Right. Some reason like me. 1 second, we'll do it the old-fashioned way of not being full screen. And okay, here we go. Round 2. Here we go. So awesome. So GAAME is part of, and hopefully it is showing, GAAME is part of an overall university system of Georgia's program of African American male initiatives. Each campus who has submitted a grant can actually participate, who is accepted. And so each campus has a different program. Ours, again, is called the Georgia African American Male Experience. And so the goal of this program is for the University System of Georgia African American Male Initiative is to increase the number of African American males who complete post-secondary education, but pretty much say obtain graduate degrees, undergraduate degrees at University System of Georgia institutions. And in a second, I'll go over the model it's being used in which this has been very much so successful. And so about 2 years in 2018, USG reimagined what the AAMI program was going to be. And for us at UGA, we've always had a transition program called GAAME Weekend, which would have been today. And about right now, we would have been having dinner, finishing up dinner and a really great Southern buffet. I'm getting hungry thinking about it again. And then having game night, but we'll definitely have something again. But through this model, there are 4 key areas in which the programming that is done throughout the year is aligned with, and that is academic skills enrichment, student support services, adult and peer mentoring, as well as leadership development. And what's amazing about the GAAME program is, again, the strong connection with the Black Male Leadership Society, which again is part of the Office of Multicultural Services and Programs, a part of Student Affairs, but also the program, the GAAME program is part of a larger advisory board as well within the Office of Diversity. So there are many individuals throughout campus that are informing the work that we do, as well as our success. And through GAAME, we have 4 primary goals. 1, to assist African-American male students in their transition acclimation to University of Georgia. 2, support African-American male students academically and socially throughout their enrollment, but also prepare them to be leaders in their communities and academic and professional careers. And lastly, expose them to support services and resources available at the University of Georgia. And through our program's model, there are pretty much 3 opportunities, so to say, to engage with the program. Again, there's GAAME Weekend, which is a transition program, which typically happens around the middle of April. This year, it would have been during G-Day. And with that, there would have been programs with a faculty member providing not necessarily a lecture, but some information on a particular area. And we would have had Dr. Anderson speak on leadership development, particularly as Black male students. But also, again, we have the GAAME Ambassadors Program. And throughout GAAME, we do put on various workshops and so forth. But a lot of the information is informed not just by the staff within the office, but by the students themselves. And these GAAME ambassadors are the peer mentors who really are doing the groundwork of letting us know what is the vibe, what is the culture, what is the air of the students, their peers, and how that informs what we do constantly. And so I have the privilege of working with these young men on what I say is a daily basis, not just through the program, but really being a part of their lives here at University of Georgia, and not just myself, but also staff in the office, and seeing what we can do to make sure that they are successful, not just while they're at University of Georgia, but also beyond. And again, there's the GAAME Scholars. And so anyone who comes through University of Georgia, African male, and though while we do put on programs that are open to any students, we have the GAAME Scholars program, which is a little bit more engaged and have some requirements. And so with the GAAME Scholars, some of the requirements are is that obviously an application, we want to make sure that we have a good understanding of who wants to be part of the program, what their majors are, their background, but also what are some of the goals? Because part of the requirement is that they must meet with a staff member, myself, or Mr. Jimenez, Gabriel, once a semester, where we have a one-on-one talk that's very candid, but also in the sense that we wind up trying to become a identity-based advisor, not academic advisor, but more identity-based, so we can support them. And we just ask they attend 2 programs a semester. And through the benefits, again, this academic guidance and support, but also engaging professional leadership development. We want to know what are the ways in which we can help fill in the gaps to what's going to help them be successful. There are, of course, also some funding. Several of our students and ambassadors have studied abroad or would have, again, potentially studied abroad again this year to various countries. And we have a couple, I believe 1 or 2 of our ambassadors on who can speak on that. But again, also some additional persons that wind up coming up. And so we have 3 levels in which we ask for the scholars to engage with the program. First is the engage level, and so they are broken up into the 4 key areas of the AMI 2.0 model. And at the engagement level, it's just attending workshops. There are various workshops and programs about once a month that go on, and they are communicated out through our ELC course, but also email, and then with our campus partners. But to take it a step forward, there's the connect level. And through that, students can, obviously, if they take advantage of tutoring through the GAAME Academic Resource Center, we have a partnership with our LSAM program, where there are the STEM-based peer tutors in which they have access to. And while DAE, the Division of Academic Enhancement, does offer tutoring for all students, there are times in which the schedules or the availability may not fit or may not be open. And so GAAME scholars have access to this resource. But again, to the meeting level. So if someone came to our We Are GAAME session at the beginning of the semester and then came and met with us, you already have 2 areas and 2 ways in which you have connected and fulfilled your requirements. But also attending an Arts Ready workshop, which is through the Career Center, where there are a plethora of ways in which students can come out with a certificate saying they are Arts Ready, in the sense that there's aspects of professional development, diversity in the workforce, and so forth. And our highest level is commitment. Through that, we ask students to potentially look at engaging in the academic coaching through Division Academic Enhancement. Also the UGA mentorship program participation. And we actually have an ambassador on the line with us too, that there are questions about that. He can speak on it. Again, becoming a member in Black Male Leadership Society. We want our students to definitely be engaged and involved, but also understand that there is support throughout, not just through our office, but broader and through their peers as well. And then engaging them and empowering them to hold a student organization leadership position. It doesn't necessarily have to be in BMLS. It doesn't necessarily have to be in MSP or student affairs, or it can be within their college or other areas as well. And so these are our GAAME ambassadors. And we'll get to the panel with them later, but we have 2 of our ambassadors who are our orientation leaders for this summer. Jaquarius Ragland with his Thriving 13s, and Kevin Ogu with his Wild Ones. And if the sound will work, and we'll see, they have provided messages and some suggestions for these UGA 24 students.
Hey y'all. My name is Jaquarius Ragland. I'm a 2nd-year intended health promotion major with a pre-med intent and a minor in African American Studies from Thomaston, Georgia. I became a GAAME ambassador because I saw a program that was tending to the needs of Black male students on the college campus. At the University of Georgia, we only comprise about 3% of the student population. So it's very important that we have programs such as GAAME that can help us stay connected. I knew that as an ambassador, I could serve in a more important role to create and implement programs to do just that. For UGA 24, I would say that you have 4 years or even more if you want to expand to make relationships, have fun, and get your education. UGA is a great place with a plethora of resources. So do not be afraid to reach out to any upperclassmen or any of the faculty of staff at the University of Georgia. We are all here to help you succeed and to have a great experience at UGA. Go Dogs.
And now for a message from Kevin.
Hey, what's up? My name is Kevin Wogu, and I'm a 2nd-year management major.
Oh, sorry about that.
Hey, what's up? My name is Kevin Wogu, and I'm a 2nd-year management major with a minor in leadership and student affairs, and I'm from Stone Mountain, Georgia. I became a GAAME ambassador because I partook in the program 2 years ago as an incoming freshman, and it was a great opportunity and resources to get plugged in before I even came to college. So I want to pour back into a program that poured so much into me. As far as advice, I would definitely say ask for help. Definitely reach out. There's a lot of people here, from faculty and staff to students like yourself, who have been in your shoes and want to help you, whether that's connecting you with resources, helping you with academics, or just getting involved. So if you have any questions, don't be afraid to reach out and ask for help early. We're all here to help you and be a resource to you.
And as you can see, they definitely are so involved, and this is just 2 of the many that have been here, and it's going to be sad for those who are graduating this spring. We definitely miss them. And so the programs we've had, just a sample, this is what we've had going on this past fall. Again, the leadership development course was with Mr. Terrence Johnson of the Fanning Institute, who really, that was one of my favorite programs we've seen thus far. Really got everyone involved and kind of understanding what does it take to be a leader. We also have a representative from State Farm, Mr. Edward Butler, who works more in the human resources side, recruitment. But then we also had a really candid conversation and discussion about men's sexual health, as well as the ways in which communication can affect choices and decisions involving that. And this past spring, we've, again, the We Are GAAME session is pretty much our informational that allows those who are interested in the program to meet with not just the current students, but ambassadors and learn about it. This past January, we had a representative from our Office of Global Education that talked about ways in which to, partake in studying abroad. We had a 5-year plan session, which really looked at how to develop future thinking and planning to achieve success, both professionally as well as personally and career-wise. Again, we would have had the GAAME Summit this past March, which would have been in concert right after the Men of Color Summit, but a lot of that has changed. And so I also want to give you an example of what we would have been doing this month in the end of year reception. And so as you can see throughout the year, we highly engage with our students and ask them to really give back and connect with us. But there are also times in which we, again, try to fill in the gaps. And so this past March, we had a representative from PNC Wealth Management, Mr. Justin Sullivan, ironically is a high school teammate of mine who came in to have a discussion just about money. Very candid, and that was where we partnered with the Black Business Student Association. So as Dr. Hodges spoke about, there are a lot of times in which our students in the various organizations connect with other student orgs that are also identity-based, all for the betterment of our students. And so getting close to the end, these are the staff that right now are supporting the program. We have Dr. Dominique Quarles, who's the director. Again, also to Mr. Gabriel Jimenez Fuentes, who's our assistant director. But we also have Ms. Joan Pittman, who's the budget manager, and myself, who has the pleasure of serving as the program coordinator. And I'll leave the screen up for a second. These are the QR codes, so if you want to take a picture, and our copy down the links. These are ways in which you can find out more information about the program, potentially fill out an interest form, and our email us if you have any additional questions that may come up. And next week will be GAAME week. And so since we cannot, unfortunately, have an on-campus experience, we are doing our best to have virtual experiences through not just Zoom, but also Instagram and utilizing Flipgrid. And so all week long, we'll have various dialogues and questions that will come up each day for individuals who respond to and answer. Monday, we'll have a first year success panel, which will have some representatives from BMLS, the freshman council you heard about. On Tuesdays and Thursday, we'll have different ambassadors do a takeover of our Instagram account. On Wednesday, we'll have another open house to kind of talk about the program for those who've missed it, but also if there are individuals who want to have a less formal conversation about the program. And then on Friday, we'll have some Black male alums come and have a conversation to answer questions on what is it like, how do UGA prepare them for life after college. And again, I thank you all, and I'm going to turn it back over to see if there are any questions that I can answer for anyone, and invite the ambassadors to also join in with me / us. Give them a second. So I'll start with going through, I'll ask each one to introduce themselves. And again, obviously, if you're joining us on YouTube or not just here on Zoom, feel free to put a question or comment in. But I'll just go down the line from kind of who I can see. And we'll start with Kevin. Again, even though you've already introduced yourself, just again, real brief for each one, so I ask you to just kind of give your name, year, major, and just one interesting fact about you.
Hey y'all, my name is Kevin Wogu. I'm a second year from Stone Georgia. I'm a management major with a minor in leadership and student affairs. Just a fun fact, my favorite fruit is French fries with honey mustard on the side. Thanks, Rashawn.
Hey, how you guys doing? My name is Rashawn Merchant. I will be a senior next year. I'm an environmental science major, and a fun fact about me, every day since we've been at home, I've gone out for a run, so it's felt good.
Going down to Trey.
Yeah, my name is Trayvon Gray. I'm a rising third year intended math education major with a minor in mathematics. And a fun fact about me is I play piano.
Nazir?
Hey, my name is Nasir Wise, graduating senior. majoring in marketing and with a certificate in entrepreneurship. And a fun fact about me is my favorite fruit is pineapples.
Oba, did you leave us? We'll switch to Quinn. Give Oba a chance to come back.
Oh,
You got it, Quinn. Oh, okay. Never mind.
go ahead. Go ahead.
So, my name is Obamide Sumaye. I am a first year rising to a second year. My major is intended economics, minor in mathematics. And a fun fact about me, I don't know. I always go with this one. I was born in Nigeria, so yeah.
Quinn?
I'm Quinn Thomas. I'm a rising third year studying political science with a minor in criminal justice studies and African American studies. And a fun fact about me is when I was little, I accidentally drank bleach.
Caleb?
Excuse my LeBron fat head in the back. My name's Caleb Kelly. I'm a third year sports management major from Macon, Georgia. My fun fact is that I love to sing.
No. Jaquarius?
Hey everybody, my name is Jaquarius Ragland. I'm a second year intended health promotion major, pre-med intent, with a minor in African American studies from Thompson, Georgia. A fun fact about me, I guess since I've been home, all I've been drinking is water.
Power to you. So I guess I want to start actually with Rashawn. Anyone else who may have also studied abroad, could you just real briefly kind of talk about what was your experience like studying abroad and the process as briefly as possible?
So my study abroad was amazing. It was absolutely incredible. I got the chance to go to Greece in May of the last school year. I spent a couple days in Athens and the rest of the half in Santorini. Honestly, the process, it was kind of difficult because one of the things with studying abroad is that, like, you know, it costs a lot. It can be expensive. But through the help of like the GAAME program and like assistance and with things like that, I was able to get my flight paid for. So that like really contributed a lot. It made, you know, the trip really meaningful for me.
Thank you. I'll switch over to Nasir. As someone who's unfortunately transitioning out, I wonder if you can possibly give some insight as to kind of your experiences throughout these past couple years at UGA, and kind of within the context of especially being like a Black male.
Yeah, so I'm from Gwinnett County, Georgia. So like I come from like Parkview High School. So like being the only Black male in my class has not been anything like new to me. So that like, unfortunately that helped my transition into UGA because I was still only the Black male in like some of my classes. But being like a part of BMLS and then a part of GAAME just helped me build that community and just like, it helped me build that bond and really delve into figure out who I am, what do I stand for, and really make me develop into like a better leader.
Awesome. So Caleb, switch over to you. And those who, and I guess after he speaks, anyone else who also attended GAAME weekend to kind of talk about what's it been like to be involved. You're definitely very much so well involved within campus, but I think what's unique about many of you is that you're also involved outside of just identity-based orgs. And if you kind of talk about what that's been like for you.
It's definitely been a great experience for me at UGA. I've been able to challenge myself and grow in areas I didn't know I could. What he was talking about with identity-based organizations is your multicultural organizations like Black Male Leadership Society, Black Affairs Council, and those things are great, but there's so many other opportunities as well at UGA. Just for example, orientation or first year programs, Student Alumni Council. There's so many different organizations on campus where students can push themselves. And one thing I wanted to do was serve other students at UGA. So orientation is one of my favorite organizations that I've ever been a part of. And I was able to stay a whole summer at UGA, being able to mentor first-year students and challenge them to grow in their areas as well. And looking back, that's been one of the hugest parts of my experience here.
Thank you. And before we get to the question about the transition from attending game weekend and involved Oba as the rising second year, but current still first year. If you can talk about your experience of attending game weekend and how that helped you to make your decision about where to go to school or ease your decision with coming to and committing to the G.
Sure. Okay. So, like you said, I went to game weekend last year, and I had already committed at the time. And so, it was me and my friend Jeremiah. We both were commits, and we just wanted to see how UJ was like. That was my first time on campus, coming through game weekend, and I say like it was one of the best decisions I made. Just being there, like with these people that I'm on Zoom with right now, they really helped ease my decision about coming to UGA. Especially like Caleb, he was like one of the first people that I met at game. Told me everything like about UGA, and later then it would be Jalen, then Kevin, and then like so many other people that just like helped me just ease in as I came on campus. And it has really like opened me up to like so many different resources that we have, and like GAAME has helped me out a lot in helping me to obtain those resources as well. So
anyone else want to kind of share their experience of game weekend and how it kind of helped them? Okay, sweet. We'll turn this on. So actually, I would like for Trey, if you can kind of talk about what's it like being in honors, especially since you pretty much can only apply if you don't come in honors within that first semester. And there's not many currently Black males part of the honors program. So if you can kind of briefly talk about your experiences with it. You're on mute.
Yeah, so the honors program is a great thing. Honestly, it provides me the opportunity to get a more rigorous experience in terms of academics, as well as being a part of a close-knit community of other people who aspire to basically enrich themselves academically to a further extent. You get the benefit of those smaller classes. I would say, as a Black male within the program, seeing we are such a small percentage, it's definitely different. It's more of a culture shock in terms of it, but it just gives me more of the initiative to basically go advocate for not only just Black males, but other minorities that may not have a strong percentage inside the honors program. But it's an amazing experience, honestly. It's provided me the opportunity to register early, get different benefits that I may not have had opportunity to access without the honors program. But yeah, honors program is great. I suggest anybody who definitely comes in their first semester, definitely apply. You don't lose anything. You just, if you apply, you get to get it, or you don't. And it's a great thing for all students. So definitely suggest people to go apply for it.
Thank you. Now I'm gonna switch over to Kevin and Jaquarius, because you are our two orientation leaders, and Caleb was one last year. But with you two, what are you looking forward to? And if by chance, how can these potential students connect with you if by chance they wind up being either a 1 or a 13?
Kevin, you can go ahead and go first. That's my wild one.
I appreciate it, JQ. I would definitely say that this summer will look different, but we're still doing our best to just make sure that those connections and relationships are built. So this summer we'll be having virtual small group sessions, which will kind of emulate the sessions that you would have had if you had come on campus physically. And so through that, we'll be able to just kind of build a cohort in each session, but also prior to that, we'll have modules, and through that, you can learn about a lot of the resources that we'll have at UGA and learn how to get involved as well. And even going past the virtual small group sessions and the modules, you'll definitely be able to use this as a resource. You'll have our contact information. We'll have also office hours where you can just reach out to us after you've completed orientation and just get your questions answered, whether it's helping register for classes or finding an organization that may fit your passion. Is there anything you want to add, JQ?
Well, I probably kind of hit on the head on the nail, but I really just want to say that I'm just excited for both of us just to meet our orientees and the rest of our team as well. We're all working hard, having weekly meetings and extended things that we're doing over the weekends or other days that we're not meeting to just try to make things seem as normal as we know it's not going to be normal, but just to give you all the sense of a great UGA orientation despite not being on campus. So just know that we're doing everything in our hearts and whatever the university can allow us to do to try to make your experience virtually very memorable. And we can't wait to meet y'all.
Thank you. Go back over to Nasir. If there's something reflecting back on your time that you didn't get a chance to do or accomplish that you wish you would have, what would it be? And with that, kind of think of like some type of advice you would like to give these gentlemen.
So kind of right now, like going into job search and like graduating everything, I feel like one big thing is use your resources and talk to people and then talk about the things you're interested in and talk about the different experiences you have, because everyone has their own like kind of perspective on it, and that's just going to help you ground your perspective, just add more information to see if you really want to do that and how it will help you in your journey throughout your time at UGA, and is definitely really helpful.
Thank you. Now there's one question kind of always comes up, and we don't want to necessarily make it think that it's to kind of sugarcoat everything. But in all honesty, and anyone can kind of tackle this question, what has it been like to be a Black person, especially a Black male at UGA? And how have you been able to navigate our institution with those identities?
I would just say, oh, you can go.
No, go ahead.
All right. Well, I was just going to say, knowing that I'm not alone in this, when I go into a big lecture classroom, I might be one of the only minorities in the class, but we have a big community, like, because we created that with Black Male Leadership Society and just the atmosphere at UGA, we all come together. And it might not be a large percentage out of the 100% of the 30,000 students, but we do a good job of congregating together to support each other on campus. So I've never felt alone, and I never thought that at UGA that I would be able to find a friend group of Black guys, but I've been able to do that through the community at UGA.
Just to add on to what Caleb said, I mean, some days it's okay and some days it's hard. I'm not going to sugarcoat and say that every day it's just going to be perfectly fine to be a Black male at UGA. I'm just recently changed over from biology to from intended health promotion, to intended health promotion from biology, still in the STEM region, but just being in those STEM classes, labs, it's sometimes going into lab, I'm the only Black male in the course, at my lab table, in the entire maybe lab room. And it's just very hard sometimes, and it makes me feel like I'm pressured just to succeed or do better just because I'm the only Black male in there. But sometimes you just have to realize that you're going to be the only Black person in a room at some point in time, that you don't have to carry all those burdens on yourself just because you are that one person. At UGA, like I said in the video, we are comprised of about 3% Black males. And just as Caleb was saying, we have so many programs and so many people on campus who are there for us to help us connect and just to help us have a great experience at UGA, despite the things that people may think.
Awesome. And so to end it, I'm gonna ask each of you, I'll call you individually, advice, something that you want to leave with UGA 24, and Well, I want to say 5 words left, but about 3 words, but no more than 5. And we'll start with Oba.
So my first word, explore.
Uh-oh. We'll switch to Trey until he comes back.
I would say definitely remember that failure just means there's room for growth. Don't take it as just a failure, just room for you to grow and make sure that you succeed the next time that this situation or a similar situation may come to you.
Longest 3 to 5 words ever. Quinn.
My advice would be to consider every opportunity you're presented with.
Thank you. Caleb. Still muted.
Challenge yourself.
All right, Jaquarius.
Get tutoring early.
Nazir.
Make connections.
Kevin.
Try new experiences.
And Rashawn.
I would say maintain the relationships you make.
And I'll just, as we finish up, I'll just last also too is again to reach out to us early. It's really important. We're here for you and we want to support you, want you to do your best. And so thank you all. Thank you, gentlemen, for joining us. And thank you all who are joining us today, and pass it back over to Gabriel.
Well, I just want to say also that I'm really, really proud of all of you. You have been doing an amazing job. Thank you so much. Hearing your answers, wow, unbelievable. They're really nice. Thank you, thank you. Marques, excellent as always. Thank you so much for the leadership. This is the end of session 3, second 1 hour and a half. We have one more left, so we will be seeing each other at 8 p.m.
Before we go, can we just, Oba, do you want to give me 3 words since you froze?
Oba, yes, Oba.
Yeah. So 1 would be explore, 2 would be trust, and 3 would be ask. Yeah.
Thank you.
No problem.
Thank you so much. Again, thank you. Have a wonderful evening. I see the next group of students at 8 p.m. Thank you.
Bye.
Good evening, everybody. Let's allow few more minutes for the students, for more students to access the webinar. In a few minutes, we are going to be resuming the section number 3. Good evening, everyone. My name is Gabriel Jimenez Fuentes. I am the Assistant Director of Student Initiative at the Office of Institutional Diversity. Welcome to the final hour and a half. Welcome to another amazing session. Again, we have the pleasure and the honor to have Dr. Michelle Cook. She's the Vice Provost and the Strategic University, she's the Vice Pro, excuse me, she's the Vice Pro for Diversity and Inclusion and Strategic University Initiative. It's been a really long day, but really good with wonderful presentations, but we are here. Dr. Cook, thank you for being here. Thank you for giving this message to our audience. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Jimenez, and thank you for having me. Good evening, Georgia Days. Thank you all for joining us for our virtual experience of UGA Ready. First, let me congratulate you on being admitted to the University of Georgia. You may know, but we definitely know that that admission to the University of Georgia is a competitive academic process, and that this year we denied well over half of the students that applied for admissions, making us a selective institution. And it was a very robust and strong applicant pool. Therefore, for you to be admitted to the University of Georgia this year means that you are an incredibly academically competitive student. You have done what you needed to do to be ready for college. And for that, we congratulate you and we thank you for joining us. We're hosting this event because we want you to seriously consider the University of Georgia as you make your collegiate plans. One thing we do know about you is that you have many options. There are a lot of places you can go because you're that strong of students. And we know that academically, you probably were admitted to several places and that you're making that decision and looking around and trying to determine what's going to be the best fit for you. And we realize that a lot goes into making that decision, but we believe that UGA is the full package. Academically, socially, economically, we have incredible opportunities at the university. And when you graduate from UGA, you will have a degree that will enable you to accomplish whatever you wish to do. You will be a part of a very large and active community of alumni who are doing incredible things. Over 15,000 strong African-American living alumni of the University of Georgia. You will be part of the Bulldog Nation. So why UGA? I could give you details and numbers, such as the number of books in the library, the acreage that the campus covers, and it's a large campus. I could talk economics in terms of the political, economic, and cultural impact that UGA has on the state, the region, and the nation and the world, quite honestly. And then, of course, there is athletics. But rather than shower you with data and statistics, I think it's really important for you to hear more than just simply numbers. They're impressive numbers and we're very proud of them, but numbers are all the same. You are probably interested in how does all this affect you as a student in making a collegiate decision? What will it mean for me to attend this large, complex, sophisticated university? Well, UGA is a large place, but I would say that no student feels as if there's simply a number here. UGA does a lot of things well. And one thing that I think that we do wonderfully is make this very large place, very small and very personal for each of our students. This event is an example of this. We're interested in you as an individual. We're interested in your success. We want to help you to realize whatever goals you have set for yourself. So large doesn't mean lost in the crowd. At UGA, large means opportunity. You know, I want to reiterate the fact that being a student at an institution that has the size, the resources, the diversity and the reach that the University of Georgia has allows you as a student to have opportunities that you simply would not find at a much smaller institution. We have students who are doing amazing things on campus, across the state, across the nation, and abroad. We have incredible study abroad opportunities, as well as a study in the country in Washington, D.C. with UGA and Washington semester, as well as 2 facilities that we own abroad, one in Cortona, Italy, and one in Oxford, England, as well as hundreds of other study abroad opportunities and engagements across the world. So big means opportunity. UGA also offers amazing diversity, people from every demographic. We have students that represent all 50 states, as well as over 200 countries across the world. In addition, we have many students that represent underrepresented groups, African American, Hispanic, Latinx, as well as Asian American and other identities here in the United States. We're very proud of that generation, of that diversity, because we know that you're the next generation. UGA is committed to that diversity. I know this or I would not be here. We need great minds and creative young thinkers from every demographic. This past year, UGA has been particularly pleased with our ability to attract the best, the brightest, and the most diverse freshman class ever. This program is part of a larger initiative to continue to grow the numbers and percentage of underrepresented students who matriculate at UGA. And we don't want to just increase the presence of students of color at UGA to increase the numbers. We're making incredible efforts to increase the sense of community, inclusion, and advocacy that students of color receive while here. Again, we're invested in your success. We want to make sure that we support you at every step along the way. We recognize that choosing a college can be a difficult decision. The choice of a college is one that impacts your entire family, if not the entire community. And it's important that you know that we are your family and that we want to be your UGA family to provide the support and endorsement that you need. We pledge our support of and investment in you. We work daily to ensure that the University of Georgia will not only meet your collegiate needs, but prepare you to move on in life and accomplish your goals. I encourage each of you to take advantage of this virtual University of Georgia experience, UGA Ready, particularly this Georgia Days breakout, to learn all that you can about our campus and our culture and what the institution offers. And I challenge you to consider how you would look as a Bulldog and how you would contribute to this community. Earlier, Vice President for Student Affairs, Victor Wilson, stated during the academic opportunity session that you should embrace this institution, make it your own. You're in the process of making decisions about the next stage in your career. And by participating in this program, I'm convinced that you're off to a good start and are headed in the right direction. I want to just give a quick plug for Georgia Days. Georgia Days is a premier student organization at the University of Georgia. We have an incredible group of students who lead it through the executive board. In addition, a larger group of students who support the efforts of Georgia Days to recruit the next generation of Bulldogs. It is an organization that we're incredibly proud of, and I'm particularly proud of what the students are doing tonight and throughout the weekend. You'll hear more